It's that time again. Shoot the shit. Been gone for 2 weeks. But I had a great time. Just flying to a race, visited my daughter. It was a good week. But now I'm back for you guys. I need to take a little R&R for DSP. That's me, David Scott Peters. Those of you who don't know me, you are here for Shoot the Shit with DSP. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We're going to see if all the technology is working today. Do me a favor, give me a good morning, something. It looks like my technology is not working. I'm not going to be able to bring up comments on the screen. Man, I had this all worked out. I swear I did. So I'm going to have to read them from here. We've got Steve Ellers in the house. He said, good morning from my desk in Oregon. Yes, it is your desk. It is Oregon. If you are joining, do me a favor, make sure you're logged into your Google account, your YouTube account. They're the same thing, synonymous. So you can participate in the chat. We've got some more good mornings here. I've got Mary DeLeon's in the house. Good morning, Mary. It is awesome to have you. Dwayne is in the house. Good morning to you. Mother's Cantina, Ryan James is in the house. Good morning to you, my friend. It is great to have my team on here. It's great to have you guys as restaurant owners on here. Managers, anybody who's looking to become better in this business, this crazy business called restaurant. That's why we're here. Again, if you're joining, we've got a bunch of you that have not said good morning yet. We've got Eric is in the house. What's up, Eric? It is awesome to have you. My Twisty, RTF. Yes, you are, my friend. These glasses aren't as cool as yours. Someday, I'll be as cool as you. I'll get those done. If you know, you know. All right, we've got Carlos Z in the house. What's up, Carlos? Good morning from the Hollister, California. Dwayne is in the house. Good morning, Dwayne. Awesome to have you. Firehouse Subs in the house. Franchise, yes? Huddy's Bagels. What's going on, Stacy? Hello, hello from the bagel world. Shaheen is in the house. ABR, America's Best Restaurants. You need to look up Shaheen. He's your guy. What's up, DSP? He says, what's up to you? We got a full house this morning. I'm excited about it. We're going to get started here on content. We're going to get it going here. Let's do it. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. STS with DSP happens every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, travel schedule permitting. We're going to invest about 30 minutes out of your day to get pumped about the upcoming week and get excited about crushing your goals and finding the motivation to be the best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions. I'm David Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula and your coach. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure that you have logged into your Google account, your YouTube account. Again, they're synonymous, so you can participate in the chat, because after I do my portion of Shoot the Shit, where I teach, I answer your questions. I'd love to see your comments, anything, more participation, the happier I am, because I'm literally talking to a camera. I only know you're here because you're commenting. So help a guy out. Make sure you're logged in. And we've got a couple more good mornings before we get started. We've got Carolyn's in the house. Good morning, Carolyn. We've Huddy's, Stacy's talking to Shaheen, giving him an exclamation. Matt Plapp's in the house. Sup, DSP says sup, Mr. Plapp. Again, look up America's Best Restaurants. MattPlapp.com is another place you can find him. Deja Wakefield's in the house. Good morning, Deja. Awesome to have you. Let's get started, shall we? Margins are getting squeezed like a lemon in a busy bar shift, right? And you're standing there hoping a seed doesn't hit you in the frickin' eye. Hope isn't a system. Today, I'm handing you real, verifiable plays other restaurant operators use, so you can stop guessing and start cashing in. So here's where we're going. Number one, a prime cost turnaround you can copy. Number two, a theft playbook that actually finds the leaks. Number three, well, labor cost pressure, what the big guys did, and how you as an indie adapt. And number four, your 5 moves in the next 7 days. Sound good? Let's get started. Number one is your prime cost makeover. What it looks like when you actually run the formula, which is prime cost. What is that? That's total cost of goods sold plus total labor costs, including taxes, benefits, insurance. So that's food, beverage, and merchandise cost. That's total labor costs, salaries, hourly, plus taxes, benefits, insurance. Now, what's not included there is if you got a marketing person, an accounting person, and so on, just the people in the four walls go into prime cost. You need to control it weekly, or it controls you daily. Now, here's your playbook: budget variance report, recipe costing cards, shelf-to-sheet inventory, and menu engineering, period. Now, I worked with an operator who started out in farmers markets, grew to multiple locations, including a location in an arena. So went from being very small into something much bigger. Now, when I first started working with them, they were drowning. They were running a 75% prime cost when they started. Again, 75%. Now, I'm going to find if you don't take inventories on a weekly basis, you're not tracking labor on a routine basis, odds are you're running a 78% prime cost or higher. That is not unusual, using bad numbers as well. But our goal is if you do $850,000 more year in sales is a 55% prime cost, which is 10 points lower than all the other experts talk about. If you do under that in sales, we're shooting for a 60% prime cost. So imagine this is an operation running 75%, 20 points higher than I want you to. Now, over time, by installing recipe costing cards, doing weekly inventories, and managing their budget variance report every single week, they hammered their prime cost down into the 50s, ultimately hitting 49%. No shit. Now, to do that, I want to warn you, that can be too low for many restaurant operators. But when you're doing $2 million or more in sales, 49% is not out of the question. Now, by the way, they hit that 49%, not with luck, with systems and consistency. See, those systems go in place. You have to manage them and inspect them on a daily basis. We'll go into more of that in a minute. So what do you steal? Recipe costing cards before you raise your prices. See, no recipes, in my world, recipe costing cards, no price change. You don't guess, ever. How about weekly inventories? On the same day, the same way, every single week. Shelf to sheet. In the order it appears on the shelf, the way it appears on the sheet. How you want it counted on the shelf is how it's on the sheet. The price, what's on the shelf is the price on the sheet. I have $2 million restaurants take inventory every week in under an hour. So when you're taking 4 hours because you don't have a system in place, if you're not using software, of course you'd say, no way, David, we're not going to take inventory. It takes too long. It's too hard. But if you want to know your prime cost, you cannot know your prime cost without inventories. You cannot control your food costs without inventories, your pour cost, your merchandise. No exceptions. Well, menu engineering. I can't do menu engineering properly if I don't have recipe costing cards, accurate, up-to-date recipe costing cards. So menu engineering is doing something with math, which means I've got to have good numbers. Garbage in, garbage out. You give me accurate, up-to-date recipe costing cards. You give me your product mix from your point of sale system, what your customers actually purchase, what you actually sell the items for before discounts. Man, you've got everything you need to know to change your life. The first time through, I can reduce your food costs 3 to 7 points. First time. After that, we're working on smaller margins because we've made the big swing. But again, menu engineering with math, not feelings. So when we raise prices, we do it surgically on high volume, high value items. We cut the dead weight, the things that nobody's buying, and a whole lot of stuff in between. Here's the reality. And it's really a reality check for each and every one of us. When I put this report together, accurate, up-to-date recipe costing cards, what you sell it for, what your customers actually order, we come up with something called your ideal or theoretical food cost. It's what your food cost should be, not some national average bullshit that you found on the internet, 33%, 34%. That's not your restaurant. Your recipe cards, what you sell on your menu, what you sell it for, and what your customers actually purchase gives you your ideal cost, your theoretical cost. That if your restaurant ran perfectly, no waste, no theft, no spoilage, perfect restaurant which does not exist, what your food cost should be, your menu should produce. Now I'm going to tell you, you won't hit your theoretical or ideal food costs. If you do, there's a real problem. Why? It means our recipe cards are wrong. Because we're not robots. There's always going to be some form of error, some form of mistake. Things happen in the restaurant business. So, if you have a rock star kitchen manager or chef, you're going to run 1.5 to 2 points above ideal. So if my ideal cost on my menu, based on my customers, what they purchased, what I use in product, the recipe costing card, what I sell it for, let's say the number is 30%. That's my number. And I've got people in the 20s, 20, 22. But let's say it's 30. That means I have a rock star kitchen manager or chef if they run a 31.5 to 32% actual food cost. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending gives us use divided by sales, food cost. That's your real food cost compared to your ideal, what it should be. If they run 1.5 to 2 points above ideal, rock star. A good team runs about 3 to 4 points above ideal, and they're always working towards the 2, because that last 2 points, that's hard work. That's dialing in all your systems. And if you're running 5 to 7 points over, you got a barn door open of profits just leaking from theft, waste, or ordering on autopilot. Nobody's paying attention. By the way, most restaurants, when I first start working with them, run 7 to 9 points above ideal. That's crazy. And we want to bitch and moan about our vendors because our prices are going up. When the reality is what we do, what you do in your kitchens is what's killing you, not your vendors. Because if I have the right systems in place and the price of cheese goes up and I'm a pizza place, I can react. Without the right data, how do you know? Now here's a fun fact. When your top sellers are awesome, right? Your top selling items are just so good. People rave about them. I want you to know they're awesome at any price. Your guests told you so. They voted with their wallets. That's your license to raise prices on your top 1, 2, or 3 items in each category and leave the low volume snoozers alone or delete them. Don't spend an hour saving a nickel on something that does 0.3% of sales. That's not discipline. That's freaking procrastination dressed as work. And there's a whole lot of other things we can do when we have that data. But even if you don't have recipe costing cards, right now you could raise the price on top 1, 2, 3 items and start to change your world. But I'm going to tell you, we need those recipe cards. Number 2, theft isn't a mystery. It's a system failure. So you're going to use these plays. So the first principles, you don't stop theft by speeches. Hey, everybody, I know I'm looking, I don't want you to steal, or security cameras. Because quite honestly, what are you going to do? Hey, boss, what are you doing today? I'm watching yesterday. Like, the theft has already happened. It's too late. They don't prevent theft. You stop theft. You stop it by showing up in the numbers daily, right? It shows up in your numbers on a daily basis. So here are your plays to stop stealing this week. Stop the steal, if you will, right? No sale, comp, void sweeps, by shift. What do I mean by that? You're going to pull those reports from your POS system. See, your POS system is the most valuable piece of equipment you're ever going to purchase. And I don't care which one it is, and I don't care if you hate it. I'll find you 500 people who love that POS system. I'll find 500 people who hate it, and it usually comes down to how it was set up in the first place. Beyond that, the data in the POS system is incredible. We're talking about theft. So those 3 reports are incredibly important. Are you watching at them? Are you looking at them on a daily basis? You're not accusing your management team or your employees of stealing. You're asking patterns to explain themselves because you're looking at reports. Patterns sing when people steal. You can see that there's a problem. What about a secret shopper? And I'm not talking about using my friend Darren Dennington's service, Secret Service, which is the best secret shopping service out there. Look them up at secretservice.com. They're incredible. In fact, email me and we can get you a free shop. I don't get a commission or anything. He's just a really good friend. And I'm telling you, I've known him for now 23 years, and they rock. I'm talking about sending in your own secret shopper. It's like a sting, if you will, right? We're going to run our own sting for cash skims. We're just looking specifically for a cash skim, not service and product quality and all the things that a true secret shopper would do. So send in a friend with an exact order and cash in hand. The key is this: they have to have cash. They've got to use cash. Then note the time. Ask for no receipt. I don't want a receipt because a receipt proves a transaction. And we all know that we should be dropping a receipt with every single order that's been completed, because that's how we prove at the bar that things are being rung up. By the way, that's federal law. Anytime that you serve an alcoholic beverage, it must be rung up by federal law. If not, you're in trouble. Then go back and compare to your POS system. Is there no record of that transaction? You've got a problem. How about a key item tracker? I talk about the key item tracker all the time. Count your top 5 to 15 items, things in the kitchen you don't want stolen by shift. They could be scallops, wings, steak, bacon. Hell, they could be French fries. Start with your beginning count. Add whatever you prepped or restocked. Count your ending count, right? So beginning count plus what you prepped and stocked minus your ending count. Well, what does that do? We take that ending count, we compare it to the items that were actually sold, and our POS system tells us. Remember I said the POS system's our most important piece of equipment you ever purchased? Well, I can look at my item-by-item sales mix report for that shift, see how many of those I should have sold. I compare it to what the math says on the key item tracker, and I compare what's there versus reality. And if what's there disagrees, someone's eating your profits or portioning is sloppy or they're stealing. Either way, you just found the hole. That's huge. That's now a place you can take action. Now, what do you say to your managers, right? We don't want to put them on, hey, we're trying to catch people stealing. We're about stealing. Like that's a horrible culture. You know, finding somebody doing something wrong, that's easy. Finding somebody doing something right, that's powerful. So with that mindset in mind, we're going to talk to them and say, hey, we count because we care. This is what you tell your management team. We count because we care. It's not about catching someone stealing. It's about catching problems before payroll does. The side effect? Theft drops when people see systems in place and management inspecting those systems. That's power. Again, let's talk about an owner mindset check. You're an owner watching me right now. Fire fast when you confirm theft. Don't keep the arsonist there because they're good at the grill. Your culture can't afford it, nor can your bank account. Number 3, labor pressure. What the big guys did and how you can translate it to reality. Look, minimum wage spikes force change to adapt or die. The smart ones didn't whine. They reworked the model. Automation, where it made sense, high margin add-ons, streamlined prep. Translation for the indies, you, the independent operator, automate the unglamorous. Dish machines. I've got a member and one of my member mentors who bought a $100,000 dish machine that took it from 3 people on a busy Friday night to 1 person being able to do the dishes, because this machine is incredible. They don't have to spray anything down. It just goes through magic. And you sit there, I said $100,000, but when you start looking at week after week after week, being able to run your busiest shift with 1 dishwasher, 1 actual person standing there, the savings is incredible. Grease handling could be automated, label printing, kiosks, or even QR codes at the table in a limited case use. Free your people for hospitality and throughput, not wasting time on repetitious tasks. What about build margin boosters on purpose? Got to have recipe costing cards to know that, but now that could be large beverages, premium sides, upsell bundles that print dollars without killing your line cooks and slowing down the process. What about schedule by forecast, not vibes, man? Look, lock in your labor budget and tie it to your sales. And I want to be very clear. To do this properly, you got to have a budget, a 12-month budget. If you've been following me for any length of time, if you've seen me speak at any major trade show, if you're one of my members, you have learned from me that if you do not have a 12-month budget or 13-period budget, a year budget, an annual budget, call it whatever the frick you want to call it, you have not been running your labor costs to the right number. If you pick one number and go straight across for the year, you've got months that it's impossible to hit and months that it's too easy to hit, and you're wasting thousands upon thousands of dollars. You're pissing off your management team because they're running minimum staff. They've got one manager, one server, one cook, and the labor budget's 40% because you're highly seasonable and you're out of season. Instead, with a budget, I have the right labor target by month. And that's critical for this to truly work. And I've even got members who are so seasonal that in the middle of a month, they have weeks that do this, and they're going to have a weekly budget. I digress, and I might make you feel a little tense. You need a budget. You get the picture? That's why we do them for our members. So you're going to budget your labor to your sales. Then we get into the habit of reviewing and writing our schedule on budget. Then we review the schedule versus actual on a daily basis. We control, we track. That which we measure improves. If sales dip, you adjust today, not next week. So if I'm paying attention on a daily basis, I get to Tuesday and my labor cost is high, I'm not waiting to Friday to look at my POS system and go, cut, like a chicken with your head cut off, telling people to cut labor on your two busiest sales days of the week, Friday, Saturday, and you want to give shitty ticket times and bad service because you didn't pay attention. Easy to systemize. Now you need guardrails. Like when we're copying the chains, you need some guardrails. Don't copy the big chains tech blindly. Just because they have it, you've got to do it. Start with your pain, your actual pain, the pain you have right now, bottlenecks, ticket times, accuracy. And choose maybe the cheapest fix that solves it, whether you can do it on your own or it's software or it's a piece of equipment. Sometimes it's not the cheapest when it's equipment. Sometimes it's the most expensive because it's the most reliable, and over time it saves you money. So you've got to balance that cheapest comment that I made. But I do want you to know, tools don't save restaurants. Disciplined operators do, and that's you. Number 4, your 7-day action plan. So day 1 to 2, map out your leaks. Right? Pull the last 30 days, no sale report, void report, comp report. By server, cashier, bartender, heck, manager. And look for the trends. Look what's happening. I can tell you from experience, I had 2 locations when I was at Coyote Springs, and I was the operations manager, and we had one manager at one of our locations who had all the comps in the world, and I'm thinking he might be stealing. And I, behind his back, went and checked log after log after log of comps, POS data. I mean, I went back for weeks. And you know what I discovered? He wasn't stealing. He was a closing manager, and all the employee shift drinks and meals were on his number. So you do have to interpret your data. It doesn't always scream to you there's theft. You got to flag your outliers. Have your managers do spot checks during those shifts. That could be something like a mid-shift bar drawer audit, where in the middle of the shift, you bring another drawer in, they verify it, you grab the current drawer, you run the server report, and all the closed tickets are in there, and the credit card slips and so on. And if there's extra money, if it's really short, then we've got a bartender who's stealing. Those spot checks really matter. How about day 3 and 4? Count what matters. Launch a key item tracker. Count 5 to 15 items every shift. 2 counts per day for 7 days. Oh, but David, my management team, I've got to count stuff. I'm so busy. We're counting 5 items. You got to be kidding me. The hard part is when you're pulling the POS report and doing the math, because if you're tracking French fries and you've got side dishes as a modifier in multiple items, you've got to count them all, add them up, and put them in the report. That can slow you down a little bit, but it's not difficult. So you got to track your usage versus your sales. And now we can spot problems. Start a waste tracker. We didn't talk about that earlier, but if you've been following me, you know that a waste tracker is incredibly important. If it's been burned, it's been dropped, it's a training issue, it's missing, it goes on there, if it comes back. See, if it hits the trash in all basic forms, if it hits the trash, it hits the sheet. That gives you actionable items, something to fix today, not 15 days in the next period when you get your P&L and you go, hey, kitchen manager, your food cost is high. Today you get to fix it. That's huge. How about day 5 on our 7-day plan? Engineer for cash contribution. That's a concept where if I sold a burger at 28% food cost and I make $5 on it, but I sell a steak at a 40% food cost, oh my gosh, but I make $20, which would you rather sell? Right? Takes the same $15 an hour cook to flip the burger and make me $5 that does the steak, and I make 3 times the amount of money. Now, I do warn you, with a budget, we can see what our target food cost is and what this cash contribution process would do for us. So, how do I go through this? Identify your top 5 sellers by dollars, meaning what you profit. That's the recipe costing card. Oh, now I need recipe costing cards. Minus what you sell it for, how much or cash contribution does it give me? And we want to sell more of those. So look at your top 5 cash contributors. If they're truly great, what are we going to do? Just like the top 1, 2, 3 sellers, we're going to raise the price. I want you to circle 10 items that you sell less than 2 a day. Now, we've all been brought up, oh, maybe if it sells less than 1% a day. You know, I'm not worried about percentages. I want to see when I've got an item that we sell 1 a day on average. That's the total number of items sold divided by the number of days you run the report, and we come up with 1 or less. I got news for you. You don't sell 1 a day. You sell 2 on a Tuesday, 2 on a Thursday, the rest on a Sunday. And you could have a cook that 3 weeks later, a ticket comes up and they go, shit, I haven't made that in 3 weeks. And they reinvent the product. You wonder why your food cost is high, because the product's inconsistent. You wonder why the guests aren't coming back, because the product's inconsistent. Inconsistency kills your sales and it kills your profits. So let's get rid of those items. Cut 5 of those this week. 5 of the 10 items that nobody's buying. I don't care that you cross-utilize it. Well, I use that product on 5 different products. If your guests don't want it, don't sell it. Your guests won't miss them. How about day 6? Budget the labor. Again, what's the key? I talked about you need a labor budget for the year because you're going to have different labor targets by month. Even if you're not seasonal, they will be slightly seasonal. There will be small changes month to month. So lock in your weekly budget target. Publish that target with the schedule. Measure on a daily basis. Teach your managers that which we measure improves. Day 7, inspect what you expect. This is the killer part. Walk the line for portioning tools, right? Check for scoops, ladles, scales, praise compliance, fix drift immediately. And go down any other systems that the truth is that which you measure improves, but if you don't inspect what you expect, there's no measurement, nobody uses it. All the cliches in the world require you as a manager to check the system. You as a manager to make sure they're following the system. You as an owner making sure your managers are checking. That's it. So here, you want some quick wins? If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I talk about you can drop your food costs 2 to 3 points out of the gate fast with a key item tracker, waste tracker, and a system I call the Restaurant Checkbook Guardian. That with a budget, with forecasted sales, actual sales, what you've ordered, I can tell you how much money you can spend on the next order to be within budget. And you can give your team that number and say you have X dollars compliance that you can go up or down from. Call it $500 for the kitchen. But if you order 1 penny more than $500, you can't place the order without asking me for permission. That's huge. Those 3 systems, 2 clipboard systems and a spreadsheet, you can drop your food costs 2 to 3 points, even without a full-fledged project of putting together your recipe costing cards. How about use that secret shopper, right? Get the secret shopper test. Confirm that there's no cash skims. Once is a mistake, but patterns mean theft. Raise prices surgically. Maybe you've not raised your prices in a long, long time and you need everything to go up. But without recipe costing cards, I don't know what that should be. Well, pull the trigger, do it. But if you've raised your prices over time, you've done recipe costing cards, monthly, quarterly at the minimum, look at your products. Look at what's happening to your bottom line. Go to your menu and raise your prices surgically where your volume is the strongest, as long as there's still room in your market for that item. Stop sweating those items that nobody buys. So you may have items, again, in that product mix report that you sell 2 a day that is not going to move the needle. I don't care if you raise the price. The impact is with the high movers. Next, treat tech as a tool, not as a savior. All too often, restaurant operators think, hey, like the big chains, let me buy that software, let me buy that piece of equipment, let me buy whatever. Technology is not your savior. Fix the process first, automate second. And I can tell you as an entrepreneur, it's a hard lesson for me still to this day. I want to go find the perfect software. I want to go find the perfect piece of equipment. I want to go, before I've ever fixed the damn process, you have to come up with your system, your process, your way, and then go, hey, I need to automate this. I need this to be faster. Here's are my challenges, and go find the solution that fixes those challenges. Now, ultimately, your call to action right now is pick one thing. Key item counts by shift, no sale, comp, void, sweep. I don't care what it is that I talked about. Pick one. Do it for 7 days. And then tell me about it. Post the wins in our Facebook community. Or bring it to next week's Shoot the Shit. Don't tell me what you think. Show me what you did. That's where progress is made. You've got the plays now. Work the systems, and the systems will pay you back. That concludes my portion of Shoot the Shit with DSP. Now it's your time to ask me questions, give me comments, and so on. As you notice, I've got a new piece of equipment, a little holder for this little iPad so I can see things. Let's see here. Going through the good mornings, Caleb has joined us. Good morning, Caleb. We've got Brian Schmitz in the house. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. VaporX is in the house. What up, what up? Good morning, DSP, he says. Matt Plapp made a comment. He says, I think back jobs had in restaurants as a teenager. Think back jobs I had, if I can read. And the amount of food I ate that apparently wasn't tracked, and it's scary. We weren't stealing. It was just something everyone was allowed to do. Yes. So what Matt was saying is when he was a teenager and you worked in a restaurant, you'd eat on the line, you do. That happens all over. Well, isn't that what we do in the restaurant business? No, it's not what we do in the restaurant business. It's what happens in the restaurant business, which means we often teach our employees how to steal. We make it a part of culture by not identifying it as theft, by not putting the systems in place, not having managers check it, training our team, and holding people accountable to those systems. And oh, by the way, it can be you, the owner, coming talking to the line and grabbing a piece of bacon, eating it, and then grabbing another one, eating it, and going, chef, kitchen manager, why is your food cost high? As $1.25 goes in your mouth because you have the thickest, most wonderful applewood smoked bacon in the world. I don't know why my food cost is high, as you're eating on the line as well. Nobody eats on the line. We've got Alexandru says, respect to you, my friend. Chet says, hi, David. What's going on, Chet? Good to have you. Now, again, unfortunately, I did not get the connection made that I could bring your comments up on the screen. I don't know. Week to week, I do it right, and week to week, I do it wrong. I don't know what to do. But you're here, and I'm here. Let's see how we're doing on time. We are, let's see here, running a little long. But if you've got a question, do me a favor, drop it in the chat. There's about a 15-second delay, so I'm going to draw this out. If nobody's got a question, I won't stay any longer because I usually promise you I'll be 30 minutes. But I ran long with the content today. I wanted to give you actionable things you could do today. There will be a Shoot the Shit next week. I am in town. It was just the last 2 weeks that I was not. By the way, 2 gold medals in my races, and out of the 4, and I went and visited my daughter in Craig, Alaska, and I had a blast. Caught a bunch of fish, met her friends, had a great time. Oh, you didn't ask? I told you anyway. All right, let's see if there's a question. We've got, Carlos says, guilty of line food theft. Yeah, don't do it, man. It's easy. It's easy. But what I'm noticing is we don't have any follow-up questions. Before I go, there is a QR code that I put up here. You know the drill. If you've been watching, coming by, hanging around, watching the replay, if you're not here live, that QR code, scan that, and you can get on a call with Ryan James, our solutions coach. We can learn more about you and your business, tell you what we do, and see if what we do is right for you. It's not right for everybody. We just like to think so. It'll cost you anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes on the long side. What do you got to lose but a little time? What do you have to gain? Freedom from your restaurant, the financial freedom you deserve. That's what we do. I do have, Brian caught me right before the end here. He says, yo, we give certain staff a meal perk as part of their compensation package. Would you recommend we track it separately from overall food cost? No, actually, I would recommend that every meal gets rung up and you comp it. Then your kitchen gets the sale. You don't get the money, but your food cost is accurate. The food, so it means we don't make special meals because I don't have a recipe card for that. But I can get the All-American Burger. There's a recipe card for that. I ring it up as an All-American Burger. I comp it, put it as a meal to that person, a category, however you want to track it. But guess what? Your chef, your kitchen manager gets the $20 for that meal. You don't get the cash. But now my food cost is accurate. Great question. That's my solution. That will conclude our Shoot the Shit with DSP this morning. I thank you all for joining. I look forward to seeing you next week. Do me a favor. Pick something I gave you today. Take action. My father had a phrase, and this is what I will close with. He said, ideas are cheap. Ideas are cheap. It's the people who put them into action that are priceless. So it doesn't matter if you're a member of mine, doesn't matter if you're coming here to Shoot the Shit, if you've been on my YouTube channel, you read my book, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, you listen to my podcast, Restaurant Prosperity Formula. It does not matter if you consume the data and get great ideas if you don't put something in place. Go out there, kick some ass, everybody. Peace. We'll see you next week.